What's good, folks? Hello, hello. How are you, wonderful, beautiful people? Whoa. What up, what up? Let's wait for some people to join. Yes, I am very red. I went for a run today to do a run, and I got super red. So I'm just going to put in the comments so whoever comes in knows. I'm dead. I'm just going to put in the comments. Yes, I'm very red. Ooh, girl style. I did a 5K and that shit fucked me up. Oh, man. That's what I did. All right, folks. If you're in here, say what's up. But we'll give it a second for people, if anybody else wants to jump in. If not, we'll just get right to it. I'm just going to be talking about La Selección de Mexico. They played yesterday versus New Zealand. They won 3-0, and we're just going to go over some funny shit from Twitter. Try not to get copyrighted again. I don't own any of the content on here. Twitter, stop fucking hating on me. And yeah, we'll just try to have a good time. See what we find out. See what we talk about. I'm gonna post this on Twitter real quick. Hello, hello, beautiful people. Say what's good if y'all are in here. Drop un saludo in the chat, algo. We'll get started shortly. Football season started, folks. Well, you know what that means? Puros madrazos. If you guys saw that at like all the stadiums, there people are fighting. I'm seeing this Raider dude get knocked out cold by some Charger fans and by a Raider fan. Jesus. Jesus Christ, how are they allowing that shit to happen? God damn. That's crazy. Let's give it a second. I'm just going to retweet that we're live. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, folks, we got a couple people in here. What's up? Like I said, tell me something. Show me that y'all are here, and let's get right into it. Like I said, let's talk about La Selección de Mexico. They had a match yesterday versus New Zealand. They won 3-0. Hera saying, all I'm saying is I'm winning in fantasy football. Well, that's great. I'm 2-0. Well, I'm not 2-0, 2-0, but won both my leagues. And I'm coming for both of them. We have a goal side league. I'm going to win that shit easy. And then I got a friends league from back in the day, from a work chat back in the day. Going to win that even easier. There's no stopping me. I don't lose. That's what y'all need to know. But yeah, Mexico won 3-0 yesterday. And let me see. Yeah, perfect. They won 3-0 yesterday versus New Zealand, which I don't think anybody expected anything different than that. Very easy win. Not too much drama. It was the first match of El Vasco Aguirre's third tenure with La Selección. 3 times with La Selección. Rafa Marquez's first as a coach in any shape or form, being an auxiliar. There were a lot of cool clips of him talking to some of the players before the match, kind of coaching them up. During the match, during the hydration breaks, a lot of the players even got asked during the interviews after the game, post-match interviews about like what they thought about it, and they were all, I think, over the moon, kind of fangirling about like the opportunity of being coached by a freaking Champions League winner, an amazing player, one of the best defending players of all time, and one of the best teams of all time in Barcelona. So that was awesome. But we can just get right into it. I mean, at a high level, I guess 4-0 was my guess on our podcast last week. And I was off by 1. The boy Cesar, the co-host on the pod, said 1-0. I thought it was going to be a lot tighter. I guess I was closer. I did think it was going to be a much more wide open game. New Zealand almost ranked in the triple digits. It's kind of wild. But I guess I put a lot of faith in Mexico. New coaches generally don't lose. Nuevos técnicos no pierden. Everyone was banking on Mexico to win this. It seemed pretty straightforward to me. They got 3 goals. They got them from Orbelín Pineda, El Chino Huerta, and Luis Romo. All 3 really good goals. Basically, Mexico overpowering New Zealand and making their way in. But a lot of drama before I get into the game. A lot of drama about the game. Before the game, during the game, everything. A lot of people were tripping because they had a 90,000 capacity stadium in the Rose Bowl, and they only got 25,000, I believe, at the end of it. 20,000 was what a lot of people were rage tweeting, hate tweeting very early in before the game started. But apparently the final numbers were about 25,000, and the stadium looked very not much more full than this for La Selección de Mexico. A lot of people were saying that this is a reflection, a bit of a protest from the team because they didn't do great at La Copa America, and because people are unhappy with the federation, with the coaching, with the players, right? People want younger players. People want different coaches. And then what did La Federación do? They brought El Vasco Aguirre, which is a familiar face. A lot of people weren't that happy about it. And then they bring in El Vasco brings in a lot of players that we knew would be there. The same faces. In my opinion, a couple things need to be taken into account. Like, I mean, 25,000, it looks empty as hell because the Rose Bowl is humongous, right? But it was 100 degrees in LA. Jesus, like 100 degrees in LA. And the humidity was pretty high for California. Apparently, it was just sweat central in there. Like it was disgusting. And this was during part of the game, but then a good majority of the game, the sun was just beating down on everybody. So, I mean, I think it could be multiple things. I do think it's a lot of people being sick and tired of La Selección coming for money grabs, like for that mixed tour. Like, what the hell is even, like, what is even that? But then at the same time, like, when I went to the Copa America to go watch Uruguay versus Brazil, like it was in bearable temperature outside, but thankfully it was air controlled inside, which made us want to just suffer through the heat outside, but make it to the inside. But there's nowhere to escape it, dude. Look at this. There's no shade, and they did that on purpose so that they can fit more seats. Thinking that California weather's always pleasant, right? Thanks global warming. But yeah, there's no coverage at all. Like, what do you do? Like, I'm sure the only coverage is the palcos, all the suites for all the fucking rich. Yeah, they're right here. All the business people and the rich people back here, and then all the coverage, the TV coverage, which is pretty crazy. Some of the comments people saying hasta que hicieron algo bien los pochos, basically hating that, like, everyone says that that Mexican American people are the ones that like are making the team do so terribly because they're motivated by US dollar when they come and play here. Even if they're playing shitty, maybe fans in Mexico are going to be like actually showing them their frustrations and not going out to games. But in this case, they're saying Pochos will always come out, which is kind of the deal. But a lot of things, folks. A lot of things even before the game, leading up to an imperfect debut for El Vasco Aguirre, a debut. But getting into some footy stuff. Ganaron 3-0, like I said. Orbelin Pineda with a really good team goal, which is super funny because people were highlighting that first goal that Mexico was a great combination between the players that were there for the 2019 trophy that Cruz Azul won when they won La Novena, or 2021. But basically, Luis Romo with the pass, and then Piojo Alvarado with the little header dink down, and then Santi, asistencia de Alvarado's finta de Santi, that he just let the ball go through. And then goal de Orbelin Pineda. I can't show the video because I'm gonna get freaking taken down again. But if you guys watch the video, if you guys watch the goal, it is this Cruz Azul squad. Now Luis Romo's back there, Piojo's at Chivas, Santi is in Feyenoord in Europe, and then Orbelin is in Athens, in AEK Athens with the boy, Matias Almeida. But yeah, this squad did get put in since the beginning, and they showed up. They scored a golazo entre ellos. But it's hilarious because somebody said finta de Santi because people are roasting Santi that he hasn't scored in 420 days, which is kind of a funky stat because they don't play every day. They don't play every week with Mexico. But 420 days since the goal for Mexico. The goal was that, I think it was that Gold Cup winner against Panama where he basically juked all the big fools, the center backs to Panama. But they wanted to give him his flowers, so they said finta de Santi, like half an assist. Y ya contamos fintas, jajaja, no, que no es delantero. People are roasting them for saying Henry Martin los cansa, el cansador de defensas Henry Martin, y Santi los finta. I'm dead. Henry ni eso sabe ser cuántos balones toca. Bro, Mexican footy Twitter is hilarious because it's just fools from every team hating on people from whoever's getting shouted out. In this case, Santi, right? Looking like me, like with the ooh girl orange right now, the red. No, but Santi's they're trying to give my boy a little bit of confidence. Give una finta, right? If you watch the play, like it was a big difference. The body feint that he did helped out, but in this case, he's getting roasted because they're trying to put it down as a stat, and that's just funny. But the 2 goal that Chino Huerta came on for Quiñones, which according to FootMob was tied for the worst player in Mexico, which is not saying much. Almost everybody at 7.0. But Quiñones coming out for Chino Huerta, and then Chino Huerta with his first touch gets that goal. And this fool was looking dope. 8.1 rating here, but he came in, Chino Huerta, and he was lighting fools up por la banda. He plays with a really high energy, so I really like Chino Huerta for getting into like kind of rating some of these performances. I really like him in Copa America, and then that match against Uruguay, se veía completamente apagado. He looked really bad. He did not look great. That Uruguay match when they lost 5-0, he got torched. So when he plays against tougher opponents, it just seems like he just can't hold his own. But when he plays against opponents that are manageable, especially in this case, they're like a good amount below the overall level of Mexico, he freaking torches them. And he does that in Liga MX too. But shout out to him for the goal. Hopefully he can start doing this with some of the tougher squad. They do have Canada on Tuesday, which we'll talk about in a bit. But he's got to show up when it matters. That's the big thing. He did say that he wants to go to Europe because they have that competition all the time. But yeah. And a lot of this, I would take it with a grain of salt, folks, because even El Vasco Aguirre came out and said, like, when you win 3-0 against the crappier team, con todo respeto, sorry, New Zealand against a team that's not as good as you. I didn't even notice Chris Wood is in. Goddamn. It's not really about like the stats, like this full Orbelin Pineda scoring and assisting a goal, like looks like a baller on here. But then some other matches he doesn't look that great. So what El Vasco was saying is that what he looks for is for these players que cumplan lo que les dijo, right? They have their homework from El Vasco Aguirre early on before the match. And then if Santi, even though he didn't score a goal and people are hating on him, with the 7.3 rating, but they're hating on him for not scoring and not assisting at all in the match, even though he did really good on some of those plays. He had a couple of 1v1 shots on the keep that I saw one, a really good down the line that he hit it to the keep, even though he had a little bit more space to knock one in. But he had the movement. He had a really good shot where he came around the box and got a good mid-range shot. But if those are the movements that Vasco is asking him, if he's asking for him to assist more and to decoy a little bit more, then maybe he got an A+ rating from El Vasco, right? Who knows if that's what it is, because he did come out for Henry Martin, right? So only time will tell when they play tougher teams. But I mean, I liked Santi's game. And like I said, I would take it with a grain of salt. I'm not going to be saying Orbelin Pineda is the greatest thing to touch this earth for Mexico when he has been not doing amazing against tougher teams. He missed the penalty against Venezuela. They kept him out. He was only in for 12 minutes, came off the bench, and then he missed that penalty when he's not the penalty kick taker, right? So like I said, all these things have to be con medida, thought about. The one player that I will 100% give his flowers, been balling out, Luis Romo. This dude is a certified baller. He should have gone to Europe 5 years ago when he was rumored, and then he ended up going to Cruz Azul for the money. Went to Monterrey, came back to Cruz Azul for more money. Now he's 29. God damn, se le fue el tiempo. But this dude had an amazing goal. He had a really good assist. He almost had another goal where he had a breakaway on a counter, and he unfortunately hit off the post. But this dude's been balling out. So I think overall, I would say the best performance. I agree, Luis Romo. This dude's solid, and I'm excited to see what he does until Edson comes back. He's not going to be there against Canada, so hopefully they don't do some dumbass shit and start putting Charlie Rodriguez in. That's, oh my god, this dude. I don't love the hate that this fool gets online, but like, he should not be starting and he should not be getting a lot of minutes. You should be putting in other players. Give Eric Lira a shot, 24-year-old who's been balling out with Cruz Azul. Give him a go. You don't have to keep trying these players and hope that, I don't know, they'll make some amazing change. The other thing I wanted to call out, Cesar Montes is the captain. Cesar Montes is playing at Almeria, second division in Spain. And he hasn't been playing either. So I don't know what El Vasco's thinking. Maybe trying to give him that confidence to get back up on his feet. He had a solid match, but nobody in this defense, they didn't get tested. So the ratings that you see better from like the wingers is because they got passes up, which were good, but they didn't even have any pressure. So they're the ones that I least want to talk about. But Cesar Montes as the captain completely surprised me. I thought there would have been, I know Edson's not here and he's usually the captain, but there would have been at least like 4 other players that I would have thought. I would have thought of Santi, maybe if you want to give him his confidence back. I would have thought Johan Vasquez. Well, Johan Vasquez, even with Edson, I think a lot of people think he should be him. Maybe get to Luis Romo. He's been balling out. Luis Chavez has been in every match, basically. This fool doesn't get a break, and he flies in from Russia. Jesus Christ. No, but yeah, I don't see why Cesar Montes is the captain. And there's this beautiful video. yo viviendo otro proceso del vendepatrias de Javier Aguirre y con César Montes de capitán. Oh my God. Yeah, I think all of us as Mexico fans would just like a point in time where it just like all the decisions just make sense. And I know this is nitpicky, and we have to nitpick because, bro, what they beat New Zealand 3-0. I'm not like freaking slobbering on these fools saying that they did amazing. I'm also not completely saying like, oh, this Quinones with the lowest rating sucks. He needs to get out of there, because there's only so much you can do. The Canada match, I'll probably jump on live and talk a little bit more smack. Well, we'll have our full episode from Wednesday's recording after the Tuesday match. But one thing, Cesar Montes is the captain. I just don't get it. Come on, give it to somebody else. Give it to Santi. Let that boy cook. El Tala Rangel aquí was an interesting surprise. Instead of Malagon will probably play against Canada, is what's probably going to happen, because it seems to be like the starters match over there. I'm assuming Julian Araujo will play. We'll talk about that in a bit. But Tala Rangel getting the shot, doing really well, doing what he needed to, kept a clean sheet. I think the whole back line was like all aligned that they had to fight to the death to keep a clean sheet. But Tala Rangel gave some amazing balls over to Santi, over to Quinones. There was the Santi breakaway. I think Tala gave him a really good ball out. So I'm really pumped for him with Chivas, as a Chivas fan, for him to come back to Chivas with that confidence that he killed it with La Selección, and that he can do whatever the hell he wants. He's gonna ball out from here. But we'll talk about like the game against Canada in a second. But I think this is gonna look a little bit different. Maybe I'll start picking together who I think should be in there. Just one thing I wanted to call out: people are roasting. There's been a bit of a discussion on Twitter about like Rafa Marquez being this brainiac coach, and then El Vasco Aguirre just being this donkey. Not a donkey, but like an old head that is just set in his ways, and it doesn't necessarily have this tactician brain like a Pep Guardiola. But people are saying Rafa Marquez en la banca versus El Vasco Aguirre en la banca. This is Rafa Marquez. Damn. Rafa Marquez cooking con las indicaciones. Tú me metes para acá, tú para allá. And then El Vasco Aguirre, échenle huevos. I'm dead. It's The Rock. That shit's so funny. I mean, who knows? That as a fan, what I was really excited for is that we all know El Vasco has been the coach, and no pasa del quinto partido like anybody else has it, right? But like, there are some questions about him in the biggest of moments, right? Losing against Argentina, like just slipping up when it mattered most. But him still being probably the most successful Mexican coach with La Selección, and definitely at club level. But then I've been feeling confident that with Rafa Marquez there, Rafa Marquez would be a good check and balance, right? That like if El Vasco just tells him, hey, go out there and con huevos vamos a ganar, vamos a jugar bien, everybody's just got to try hard. That Rafa Marquez could be that dude to be like, okay, well, this is how you have to do it at the highest of levels. And a lot of players are already saying that they are getting that. So I love that from Rafa Marquez. But yeah, I just thought that was hilarious. But yeah, folks, on this Tuesday, we have Mexico versus Canada at 5:30 p.m. our time, Pacific time. Quinones apparently has a thigh injury, is not going to play for sure out a few weeks. And Luis Chavez with some physical discomfort always makes me feel like it's chorro when they say physical discomfort. But apparently he's going to be out too. So that's a couple of open positions. Canada out Kone and Buchanan, who are ballers on that team. Jeez, that's going to be interesting. But you get them. Brian Gonzalez have already been out. But a bit of a preview for maybe the match against Canada, folks. So if we're losing Luis Chavez, if we're losing Quiñones here, that's for sure a couple of changes that we'll have there. So let's start from the back. I think Tala Rangel will not start. I think they'll sub in Luis Malagon. I think that's been the plan, to have two keeps at these two matches. Kind of sucks that Alex Padilla is coming all the way from Europe, and they're not going to even give him a shot. Give him a couple minutes. But he did play with the youth squad, so that's good. And he got minutes against Barcelona, against the first squad de Bilbao, so I think that was riding a bit of a high right now. But I would think that we got to bring in Julian Araujo, put him in at right back for Israel Reyes. Depending if Montes is hurting because he hasn't been playing that much, maybe move Reyes into right center back, Julian Araujo out wide. I don't get why they put Stitch Angulo or why they even brought this whole. I don't understand. The scariest thing, folks, that's going to happen, please, and please, and please, and please, if this happens, I'm going to scream, is if they put Charlie Rodriguez in for Luis Chavez. I honestly no le hallo donde poner a Charlie. Charlie has to be at the 6 for Luis Chavez because he's not offensive enough to be the 10. But then I also don't want him at the 6, and I would rather him at the 10. But that's like one of those, when you play club and they put the worst player up top, no para que no estorbe atrás, it's like that. That's what it is. But Charlie's probably going to be there at the 6. But I would rather Eric Lira get the shot. But Eric Lira is almost playing like center back now with Cruz Azul, which is a bit tough. Fidel Ambriz would be a freaking dream if he got some minutes against Canada, the 22-year-old now, 21-year-old. Barely 21. I would love it. Fidel Ambriz, put him in here. Hey, Leon hasn't been doing that great, but this dude needs to get his level back for that Club World Cup with Leon. Put him in. Por favor. Metan. Marcelo Flores, man, get some minutes out wide. Diego Lainez, I didn't like him in the last match, but if we're taking out Chavez, putting in Fidel Ambriz, let's just speak it into existence. On the left wing, Quiñones, he came out for Chino Huerta. Chino Huerta will probably get steady, some heavy minutes against Canada. But that opens for a sub to get Marcelo Flores some minutes on the left wing, which I love. Diego Lainez got some minutes already, but he'll probably get some more. Memo Martinez will probably come in a little bit up top. But I'm assuming it's going to be Henry Martin up top against Santi. Coming in for Santi. I think that will be the majority of the changes. Piojo Alvarado will probably come out, but I hope they don't touch Romo. I hope they don't touch Vasquez. Gallardo's low-key saucy out wide, but he has just been untested. Maybe the thing that I'll close this out with, folks, we're getting to a bit over half an hour, but what I would want is a backline of... what I want to happen now, because I know El Vasco is going to end up doing it at some point, inevitably, is a backline of 5. He's notorious for having done that with La Selección before, and then with Mallorca. If they do a backline of 5, I would like for them to do it against Canada, who's a tougher opponent, who attacks a lot more. And if they do that backline of 5, I'm very interested to see how they set up. I like 3 center backs with Cesar Montes as center back, Johan Vasquez left center back, Reyes right center back, wingers Gallardo and Julian Araujo on the other side. But then you start limiting your attacking wingers like a Quiñones and Alvarado. Quiñones is already out, so maybe that fits it perfectly. But then that means goodbye Alvarado unless you can play a little bit more in the middle. But basically what you do is a 5-3-2, right? So then you would have Luis Chavez, you would have... if he's injured, Fidel Ambriz, por favor, Luis Romo, and then you would have Orbelín Pineda or maybe a Cordova. I would let Cordova cook, give him some minutes in there at the 10, especially if you have wingers and he doesn't have to go out wide that much. But then that's 5-3, and then I would have loved Quiñones, Jimenez up top, but it would probably be Henry Martin and Santi Jimenez out wide, which would be low-key cooking. I think they could do well with that. So if they played, let's see, Canada, they just beat the US the other day 2-1. And that 2-1, their lineup, they got that 4-2-3-1. So they're definitely gonna come in hot on the wings. I think a 5-3-2 will definitely cook against this team. US played that pure 4-3-3 that they always do, and they got sauced up. Yeah, they didn't. Is this that Christopher Lund? Yeah, I was like, who the hell is this kid? No, yeah, the US didn't look that great. They were missing some players. They were missing what's the name? Their starting keeper, Matt Turner. They're missing Pulisic. They're missing. No, actually, Pulisic was there. Gio Reyna was it? Timothy Weah. Tyler Adams is gone forever. I don't know when the hell the full's gonna come back, but no, yeah, for Kyle Larin, for Jonathan David, who's playing a little bit more centrally interesting. I would love to see 3 in the back, 3 center backs, 2 wingers, attack the flanks for Mexico, expose. Oh, Alistair Johnson got hurt, but tried to get some pressure on Alphonso Davies down the line, but still have those 3 center backs to cover you. So I'm excited if Mexico can do that. A ver qué against a tougher team. This team is tough. Mois Bombito, who just went over to Nice, is a baller. It's going to be an interesting match. It's going to be tough. But my prediction the other day when we had our podcast was Mexico to win 1-0. I didn't think Canada would have beat the U.S. It's an interim coach for the U.S. They got Mikey Varas. But I do think that Mexico will come out on top. And I said 1-0 because Mexico struggles to score multiple versus tough teams. But I think that they can do it. And Vasco's just worrying about clean sheets right now. So I think he'll cook. All right, folks. Well, that was a mouthful. I hope your fantasy football team won. I hope you got all of your dubs this week. And there was no club footy. Next week we get club footy back. So we can continue with fantasy, FPL, which I'm cooking there too. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in, folks. If y'all haven't already, please subscribe to us on Twitch, on YouTube, wherever you're consuming this. Subscribe to us. Follow us on all of our podcasts on any podcast platform. We are a podcast where we talk about footy. Usually we put out our podcast on Thursdays. And yeah, follow along for the ride. We'll talk soon, folks. All right. Peace.